What's up everyone? I'm going to be skipping this whole little introduction and getting to the point of this video. Sonic Rebooted launched 2 days ago, and my first thought about the game was truly how underwhelming it was. The levels had plenty of do or die situations, poor collision, and it was completely unfair, with the biggest elephant in the room being the playstyle I had to adapt while trying to play each level. Playing the game like I'm scared. What I mean by that was that I had to completely decrease my speed to get away from dying so quickly. You might be wondering, this is what I get for not mastering the level design, but the level design is so poor that it creates fake difficulty with bottomless pits and many other reasons I'm about to get into. I'm not joking when I say this game was just so frustrating. The way I'll be structuring this video is by the levels depending on the quality. We'll start with the levels that I thought to be the worst in the game, then moving up to the mediocre ones and the levels I thought were actually good. Out of 13 stages, the worst of them have to be Planet Wisp, Crisis City, Network Terminal, Hilltop, Bullet Train, and Sunset Heights. The problem with these stages was the design by far. Bro, especially starting with Planet Wisp, each of the game's checkpoints are very far in between each other, so whenever you die, you lose about 25% of your progress you made on the stage. My first playthrough of Planet Wisp, Crisis City, Hilltop, and especially Sunset Heights were very buggy with the bottomless pits everywhere. They were literally placed everywhere in the game, and the biggest offender was Bullet Train. I get it's inspired by that one stage from Sonic Heroes, and I didn't even like the stage there, but here it is far worse. There are sections in the stage where the dash panel led me straight into my death because the slot was big enough for where Shadow to slide through, and I'm not talking about the crash maneuver, which led me straight into my death. For some reason, in these stages, they like to place moments of grind railing, then when one ends, another is right under you. And the problem with that is, firstly, a bottomless pit, and secondly, Sonic being slightly slippery. You can easily miss this. Network Terminal had so many trials of this, and the speed boosters have you stuck in a set position so you cannot move. Then, these stages specifically, I noticed that the hitbox for the speed panels were small, which, you guessed it, led me straight to my death. The level that I spent so much time on was Hilltop Zone. I spent the most time on this zone getting lost, falling into bottomless pits, and just dying. This level was very open, and I can tell the team spent a lot of time on this one, but it's left with moments for a person to just be boosting, hoping they're going the right way. The level comes off as more as an open zone rather than an zone that you have to get to the end of. The next set of levels were okay and a massive upgrade from the actual bad levels. The levels here would include Speed Highway, Emerald Coast, Green Hill, and Kingdom Valley. Starting with Speed Highway, there's a huge stretch where nothing is really involved other than boosting and having to be very exact with your movements. What do I mean by this? There's a section of the stage where wall running is involved, and at the end you have to hit a spring to continue, but if you miss, it's game over because it's a bottomless pit. This stage is pretty short and pretty big and empty. There's just nothing to really talk about here. And the same thing can be said with Kingdom Valley, but we'll get to that when we get there. But going back to Speed Highway, it's just big, empty, and pretty short. The second part of the stage is cool, but it has a really awkward mock speed section. Emerald Coast and Kingdom Valley have annoying set pieces that have you restarting very frequently. There's a section of Emerald Coast where a speed panel is guiding you just for you to be hit with a do or die situation that may lead into a bottomless pit, or in Kingdom Valley just reusing pieces of the stage, and it just gets really boring. I saved Green Hill for last because it's just your typical linear stage. It's a literally boost to the end, which isn't terrible, but it's just mediocre, nothing to really talk about. Although I'd rather take these stages over things like Bullet Train and Planet Wisp. Anyways, onto the actual good stages. The best stages in this game is none other than Sweet Mountain, The Arc, and Rooftop Run. All these stages are actually really fun, and when I played Sweet Mountain for the first time, I thought the rest of the game would be like that, but little did I know. Each of these stages have great level design and they're low-key decent. The Arc has a pretty cool opening where you're grind railing through space. It has an anti-gravity feature which is really inconsistent because sometimes it'll invert my controls and other times it won't. I don't really know why it's like this, but it just was. And Rooftop Run, what can't be said about this stage? It was pretty good nonetheless, but these are all the stages that did it right, and it was only a shame that 3 out of the 13 did that for me. Before I end this video, I want to talk about some things I noticed in the game. Firstly, the collision is terrible. I don't think that's worth mentioning because how many times they're going to be experiencing that. There have been plenty of times where I just phase through walls and stuff, like it's just weird. Secondly, I played through this game a total of 4 times. The first and fourth time I did not record it, but the second and third time I did record it. So if you guys think I'm like lying or something, I don't care because honestly I have to prove to say and back it up. Lastly, I'm aware of the patch. It added a platform to hilltops so you don't fall into a bottomless pit, a new Emerald Coast, and lastly, I played through Planet Wisp again and noticed that the horrendous 2D section was taken out. So I'm not sure if I skipped it or they just removed it, but it is what it is. So these are my thoughts on the game, and this is just based off of my recordings and thoughts about them. If you don't agree, you can just make a video or something. I don't really care because this is my channel. Anyways though, I appreciate you guys for checking out my video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and yeah, that's all I got for you.